since I became the director, I'm been rather anxious to create stronger links.
Yes.
I have to say that some committees are more effective in that than others. We have very strong links with the War Crimes Committee, not surprisingly because of the state of the world at the moment, with major conflicts taking place. But also, I would be very happy to link with you. So take it as read that if we can get together, that would be really warmly welcomed by us.
Okay, I'll be chair until February because then my 6-year term will end, so we'll have a new chair, which maybe come from Poland. We are not
well, maybe we can do a three-way thing where we'll get together with you as you're leaving and the new one coming in.
I'll still be a member of the committee, so only not chair. The second thing is I would be interested if you're aware of what happens in Lithuania. Actually, I have 10 cases at the European Court of Human Rights. This is my private law practice. Yes. I specialize in applications to European Court of Human Rights against Lithuania because of what we think are really forbidden mass expulsions from Russian and Belarusian citizens from Lithuania. So quickly, the case is that there are 2 enterprises that are my clients, and I work for 10 of their employees that they stopped working in Belarus and Russia after the war, and they had another enterprise in Lithuania, and Lithuania open-armedly invited those people there because they're high-skilled programmers. Yes. So they were there, living there, even have family there, some of them have Lithuanian wives there, and then in Lithuania there came up a questionnaire that was sent to any Belarus and Russian people, and you had to give your opinion on the Crimea situation, on the war, if you would have contact Belarus or Russian secret service, things like that. And my clients always answered this in a perfect way because they even were posting in social media against the war in Belarus and in Russia. So they're really opposing the war. But still, whatever you put in that questionnaire, they do expulsions. Lithuania did more than 2,000 expulsions since September 2022 of Russian and Belarusian people. And if those people are not protected, they are sent over the border back to Belarus and Russia. And if they are guys like my clients, they can risk to get into prison.
Of course.
And the decisions are really not founded. They said it's a question of national security. There's the theoretical option that the Secret Service of Belarus or Russia would approach them to spy for them. But there's no concrete reasons why they should do that, even they are opposing the regime. So, and I know that the European Court of Human Rights also already has the first cases. The first cases are already transferred to the Grand Chamber. So it's really a big effect coming up, and I just wanted to inform you about what's going on there.
I had no idea of that happening.
So that's,
and it's something I think that we probably ought to be raising with the Lithuanian bar.
Yeah.
That's quite shocking, actually.
Yeah, it is.
Thank you for bringing that to our attention.
Then I have a last question, if I may. I know that's not formally the competence of that of your committee, but I was wondering if there's a position on that. When we had last time in the council the discussion about accession of new members, for example, Azerbaijan, the information the first time came on my desk that there is no mechanism to see if the already been members of the IBA still meet the criteria of, some...
This is a very interesting issue. This is the issue of whether a point should come where we say a bar association should no longer be accepted under the umbrella of the International Bar Association because it's not meeting the standards that we would expect and protecting, for example, lawyers within the nation, or that it is become a pawn of an oppressive government. We've had many debates about it, and there are different opinions. And there might even be different opinions at this table. In that, for example, I feel very strongly about, what do you do about, there were great debates about the Afghan bar, and of course there now is an Afghan bar in exile, those who were all had to flee, because it was seen as being a sort of Western injection into Afghan ways. But there was a question of whether if Afghanistan under the Taliban applied to join the IBA, what would be the position? Because we still have, ostensibly, Russia as a member of the IBA, despite its invasion of Ukraine, as many of us would see it. We still have, we're quite protective of Iranian bars, because because there are problems there with Iranian lawyers who contact us and want us to be supportive, and the government seeking to create its own government bar association. You can only practice as a barrister if you belong to it. And then there are, I mean, you can imagine the places where, that many people feel that having lawyers come here and being exposed to the discussions that take place within the IBA, that you're keeping alive some flame that you hope will be, ignited at a higher level at some later stage in the history of that nation. So, I mean, what is the answer? So it's a difficult one about, do we expel people? I think there are some lines which are crossed, and I think Afghanistan is one of them, where you're depriving half your nation of fundamental rights. But it's a difficult one, and I'd be interested in people's views on it.
But we did accept the bar in exile as a member last time.
Yeah, we've accepted the bar in exile as a member, and we haven't had the Taliban applying to us to join. Not yet. Yes. We look forward to that.
Because you are asking for an opinion, maybe I
can you
I
express it,
think
please?
really it's a very tricky question, because on the one hand side, when it comes to Iran, I was the already chair of the Human Rights Committee in 2019 when CCB granted the Human Rights Award to Nasrin Sotoudeh and other Iran colleagues. They were unfortunately in prison, and the one who was sent was Shirin Ebadi, I'm sure you know, who took the prize in their name. And she told me about the then situation in 2019 of the Iran bar. Already then, she said, for me, it's not an independent bar at all. She even made a test for herself by applying to be a member of the board, and she was obviously not accepted. So
Or something that women shouldn't be doing.
So already in 2019, it was obviously not an independent bar. So it would be, for example, in the CCE status, we won't, not a European country, but we have the very strict standard of having an independent bar that is independent from the government at the CCB level. So we wouldn't be able to accept such a member anymore. But I saw also that there is no control mechanism in the IBA controlling how members behave. So what comes up now for me is, for example, the discussion about the Azerbaijan bar. And it's not sure if they will be accepted or no. But this discussion in some way systematically is a bit strange. If on the other hand, you have the Iran bar as a member. So it's a systemic problem. This is the one side I feel, but the other side I feel is that what you say is very important. I met yesterday some of the Iran colleagues. And having them there, being able to ask them about their situation, as you said, confronting them, what's happening here, talk about the rule of law, maybe people take something at home, they don't know, So I think I'm really twisted in my opinion. I would have no clear vote on that, but I'm very glad that you have that topic on your desk and you're well aware of that.
It's not a question for the HRI, really. It's a question for the council. But I would like to say that it should be more difficult to get expelled than to become a member. So I don't think that's so strange.
I get that. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Christina.